show at Club Seaworld, followed by our end of the night fireworks spectacular, Ignite. But before we get things going here at Organ Counter, let's kick it all off with our electric ocean dancers as they turn up the heat. It all starts now.
I'd like to welcome you to Organ Counter. Being a part of Seaworld's mission is more than just a job. We are proud of what we do, and it's a privilege for us to work with, care for, teach, and build relationships with these amazing animals. Now more than ever, we are honored to share what we've learned with you today and for many more years to come. We thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you enjoy Organ Counter!
We're going to be talking about one to Sophia.
Yeah, we will, yeah. I'm already thinking what.
I was like, because I went on the line.
Emily, chances are
has one interconnected ocean.
Money, have your back.
A vast blue expanse critical to life on
I'm gonna be
Earth.
back soon.
And there's no better animal to represent the ocean's beauty than the killer whale.
They live in every corner of the ocean, from the Arctic to the Atlantic, the Southern to the Indian, to the Pacific and beyond.
Yeah.
The killer whale story is the ocean story, and it's one we all share.
We are one world, united by our ocean.
These behaviors keep our whales active and engaged. Seaworld's killer whales have inspired generations to care for our natural world, and we're excited to share their stories with all of you tonight.
Killer whales are the ocean's top predator. They use cooperation and communication, not just size and strength, to take their place at the top of the ocean's food web. At the bottom are small animals, like krill. At the top, the apex predator, the killer whale. Killer whales are as big as a bus, faster than an Olympic swimmer.
years building relationships with our whales. This creates trust, and that allows us to do some amazing things. For example, when you visit the doctor, you present your arm to draw blood, or step on the scale to see how much you weigh. It's much the same with our whales.
Throughout tonight's experience, you'll see our killer whales moving together in unison. These synchronized behaviors can strengthen social bonds and allow them to problem solve as a group. This is just another reason that they are known as the ocean's top predator. Their scientific name is Orcinus orca, but more commonly they are known as a killer whale. Here at Seaworld, our 5 killer whales have their very own personal names. We have our 3 females, Katina, Nalani, and Malia, and 2 males named Trua and Makayo. Makayo is our youngest killer whale at 11 years old, and Katina is our oldest at 46. Katina is our leader or matriarch of our pod. Now, our killer whales trust us, and they take an active role in their health and well-being. Some of the first behaviors we teach our whales are husbandry or healthcare behaviors. These behaviors are designed specifically to monitor the health of each individual whale. Now, all 3 of our females are making their way over to our slide-out area, and in just a moment, they're going to demonstrate for you a very important health behavior that we call a fluke present. Now, this fluke present is important because this behavior allows us to voluntarily collect a blood sample from our whales. Just like we go to the doctor when we're giving a blood sample, we hold our arm out nice and still. Same thing with our killer whales. So you can see that they're conditioned to roll upside down and to place that tail fluke nice and still right in front of us and our veterinary staff. Now, if you take a really close look at the white underside on their tails, you might be able to see the big vein that runs underneath, and that's where we collect that blood sample from, and we do this with all of our whales about once a month. Not only is that an important health diagnostic, but it is a great way for our trainers to build a relationship with our whales. Now, not only do we get a blood sample, but we also weigh our whales. Weighing our whales makes sure that the young ones are growing appropriately and the adult whales are maintaining a healthy weight.
And the care isn't just physical. Mental stimulation and play are vital, and we surprise and engage with our whales at every opportunity. Play is how killer whales teach their young to hunt, and for the adults, play is important too. It seems that they just enjoy having fun. Making time for play is an important part of life for killer whales, and for us.
Well, hey everyone, we're down here on the left side of the stadium talking about learning and observation. Our whales learn through watching the other whales, watching us, and they can even learn through watching you. So today we're going to put that to the test with our entire left side of the stadium. My left side, go ahead and stand up. On the count of 3, we are going to spin our entire body in one big circle. We're going to see if Malia can follow along. Looks like she's ready. So ready? 1, 2, 3, spin! She got it! Nicely done, everyone, and Malia. You guys can go ahead and have a seat. Killer whales have excellent eyesight both above and below the water, and they're often seen either jumping or spy hopping to take a good look at their environment around them. We're going to see this with a sighting bow at our center stage with Katina. When we see her do that jump, let's hear it for her. All right, my right side. Justin's going to teach you the hand signal for a reach. You are going to take 2 hands out in front of you. On the count of 3, throw those hands over your left shoulder. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Now this breach is another great behavior for the whales to take a good look at their environment around them, but we also believe it's another way for them to announce that they have arrived. Here she comes. Once again, this is Malia. Let's hear it one more time for our whales and audience volunteers. As you can see, killer whales are amazing athletes. They can eat several hundred pounds of food a day. In the wild, their diets vary depending on where they live and the time of year. Unfortunately, overfishing, pollution, and other factors are having a serious impact on some killer whale populations.
Killer whales are impressive animals, and it's pretty obvious why they're the top predator in the ocean. That means killer whales are invincible, right? Oh.
dominant, yet completely dependent.
When it comes down to it, killer whales are not the most powerful animal in the ocean.
Their future depends on you.
Through your actions.
Through the choices we all make.
We hold the future of killer whales and the oceans in our hands.
Killer whales continue to surprise and amaze us. They're the perfect ambassador for the ocean. Limitless, connected, powerful.
but still vulnerable.
The challenges that we face can seem insurmountable. Don't give up. Be inspired.
We can make a difference. The ocean needs our help, and that seems overwhelming, but together we can make it happen.
There's so much to learn.
So much to protect. So much to explore. The killer whale story is still being written, and there are simple things we all can do to make a difference. All it takes is one choice.
One positive act. One ripple that can grow and grow
And change the world.
together. We've got this.
What do you guys think so far? Awesome. So once again, my name is Cheryl. I'm just hopping right back on this microphone to kind of tell you guys a little bit about what's going on right now, what you can see. So we have our 5 killer whales, our 3 females and our 2 males, and we have 7 different environments in total that we can give our killer whales. So right now, our females have access to this main environment out here and then a side environment. And what was happening was our trainers were asking our females to come on back into that side environment, and they decided that they weren't done quite yet with this front area out here and that they want to kind of interact with each other out here, which is totally okay. It just allows me the opportunity to talk about these killer whales some more. Awesome. So everything that we do here at Seaworld, whether it be with our killer whales, bottlenose dolphins, sea lions, fish, is all voluntary. This means that our animals get to decide what they do when they do. So right now they're deciding that they want to interact with each other, and like I said, that is totally okay. All of our training here is based on positive reinforcement. This means that anytime our animals do something that we're looking for, we're going to give something to them that they find reinforcing. Now, what do you guys think would be reinforcing for a killer whale? Go ahead and shout it out. Fish. So you probably saw our trainers feeding our killer whales lots and lots of fish. On average, each individual killer whale will eat over 100 pounds of fish every single day. So it's a lot of fish. Fish is going to be very reinforcing for our whales. But we don't only just use food. We have toys that we can give our killer whales, both visual and physical, that they can have into the environment. They're different toys. They're not necessarily toys that you or I would interact with. They do have to withstand interacting with animals that are 5,000 to 7,000 pounds, but they're all different shapes and different sizes. Katina, for example, really only seems to prefer toys that are colored blue, so they all have their very specific preferences of the different toys that they receive. So toys can be another way that we say, good job, that's exactly what we wanted. We can also utilize back rubs or tactile or rubbing their flippers, their fins, their tails to let them know that they are doing exactly what we wanted them to do. Now, the whistle that we wear around our necks isn't asking our animals to do anything in particular. It's more so us saying, great job, that's exactly what I wanted. Now come on back and get some sort of reinforcement, whether it be a nice big handful of fish or a back rub or a really fun toy they might find reinforcing. Now you guys are getting a really special view of exactly what happens when our animals don't do exactly what we're looking for. And like I said, once again, that is totally fine. So what's happening right now behind the scenes is that our trainers are just kind of step back from our animals just a little bit to allow them to have this time to be social with each other. And then from there, we have 2 options. So we can either ask them again, or we can move on to something different. So it's all based on what we're seeing from our animals. A lot of what we do is based on behavior. One of the most common questions that we do get is, what is our background in schooling? And a lot of us have degrees in psychology. A A lot of how we learn as people and as humans is going to be exactly how our animals learn, whether it be killer whales or dolphins or sea lions. It's all basically the same thing. Now you can see that tap on the water with that really long Q-tip looking item. This is called a target pull. A target pull allows us to interact and ask our animals to come on over. So we can tap the top of the water to say, come on over, we're inviting you to hang out with us. But it looks like they're not quite yet done with interacting with each other. Now we have lots of different types of sessions that we can do with our killer whales. We use the acronym HELPERS to help us remember what types of sessions that we've done. Now we'll start with the H. We're gonna get a little alphabet lesson. We'll start with the H in our HELPERS. H stands for husbandry. So you guys got to see a really cool demonstration of a food present. We do actually get that blood from our killer whales about once a month, just kind of give the vets a baseline where our animals are at, so we can kind of have that health line baseline for our animals. And like I said, once again, it is all voluntary. So while we can go to the doctor, we can communicate with our doctor using English and using words. A huge part of animal training, especially with our killer whales and collecting blood samples, is based on a relationship. It's hard for me to say, it's gonna be okay, this is fine, it's super easy. So it's a big part that is based on relationship as well. But we can collect a blood sample voluntarily, we can get a urine sample, we can get fecal samples. It's really cool. I could talk about whale food all day. It's just incredible to think about the different types of samples we can voluntarily collect from our killer whales. And a lot of the samples that we collect from our animals voluntarily will go to help with the research of the killer whales out in the ocean. It's just phenomenal, the stuff that we're doing. Anyways, so husbandry is a very important session that we do with our animals. It's typically one of the first sessions that we do. Sounds good. So in addition to some of those other sessions, we'll do exercise, learnings, playtime. We might even have a session just where we build a relationship with our animals, and then it all kind of comes together in this presentation. So what our trainers were telling me right now is that our whales are still continuing to play with each other, which is totally fine. We're allowing them to have that social time. This does mean that our presentation has come to a conclusion. However, we want to thank you so much for joining us. I hope you learned a little bit about how to take care and teach and train our animals. Thank you once again for joining us, and have a great rest of the night.
Follow Seaworld on Facebook and Instagram to keep track of our latest rescues and find out more about the animals in our care.